Hello, my name is Danny and I am just about to do the school run. That's why I'm in my coat. And I thought I've got 10 minutes. I'm just going to record a quick few-minute video about something that I get asked a lot about, because I do get asked a lot about this actually several times a day, which is lovely. It's absolutely lovely to feel like my story could potentially help somebody else. But I thought, because I'm so busy with my girls, with my children, I can't give everybody the full story as much as what I would like to by messaging. So I thought, if I record something, then I can send that gives everybody the full overview, and hopefully it can help even one person. So I'll just give you a bit about my background. I worked in ophthalmology for 7 years. I worked at Specsavers Opticians. I absolutely loved it. I really loved what I did. I had a really good work ethic. I was totally addicted to helping people. Like any job, there was highs and lows, of course, and that's a whole nother story. But in general, I really loved it. Then I had my first daughter, who is at the moment 6. But when I had her, I decided to go back to work full time. Right, let me just do this video a minute. No, let me just do this video, and then I'll be with you. That's her. And I went back to work part time, and yeah, that was great. Everything was fine. Me and my husband found that we were balancing life really well. We had both of our incomes coming in. I was able to spend half my time with my daughter, so that was fabulous. And we went on to have a second child, and I kind of just assumed it'd be exactly the same. We did not have a plan B in place. We didn't have anything like as a backup just in case anything goes wrong. We just didn't. You just don't think that things like that are going to happen to you. So we didn't have anything backed up. And what happened was, we had our second daughter, very healthy pregnancy. Didn't expect anything to go wrong, gave birth to her, and she actually had a severe brain hemorrhage and a stroke when she was born. Rushed off to intensive care on life support, and it was horrible. It was a really difficult time, not really knowing if that was going to be the first day we met our daughter and the last day. So, as you can imagine, heartbreaking. But what made it even worse was the fact that she was a little survivor. She really was. And each day was a blessing. But what was really tough was seeing my husband have to go to work. He had to leave intensive care every day to go to work, because if he didn't, our bills wouldn't have got paid. Like, we wouldn't have been able to pay all of the outgoings on the house. We didn't have any savings. We didn't have any passive income. We didn't have any royalty income. We didn't have anything that meant that we could say to my husband, no, you need to stay. You need to be here. And he did need to be there. He didn't know if he was going to leave to go to work one morning and during this time and come back and her not be alive anymore. And that really is probably one of the most painful times throughout that. And that's what makes me so passionate about this business, which I'll touch on in a second. So anyway, our little gorgeous girl spent a long time in hospital, but she did finally come home, which was amazing, of course. But we were told to expect the worst, that she would need full-time care. She wouldn't walk, she wouldn't talk. She'd basically spend most of her time going back and forth to hospital. So we prepared for that by saying, myself and my husband said, one of us needs to give up our jobs, our careers, to be her full-time carer. And I decided to do that. So I said goodbye to the opticians and became her full-time carer. And I did spend most of our time in the first couple of years back and forth in hospital, taking my toddler then at the time as well. And there's only 18 months between those two. And I'm so happy to say that my youngest is 4 now, and she is an absolute incredible little person. She does walk, she does talk, she doesn't shut up, she goes to school. She's just an absolute little inspiration to me. She's defied all predictions. She's just incredible, like totally and utterly incredible. She's in here as well now. Girls, just be quiet for a minute, just for a few minutes, okay? Go back and play downstairs. Anyway, so when I left my job, our outgoings were still the same. So we actually had, I think it was about £1,500 a month of outgoings. But because I left my job and we only had Ian's, my husband's, income, it wasn't enough to pay. There was more going out than what was coming in. So what ended up happening was I went on to benefits, which is government help, which was about £60 a week, which I'm very grateful for in this country. You know, to be given money to help in situations is just incredible. Like, I don't know many other countries that would do that. I'm so grateful. But it didn't cover, it didn't even cover the petrol to go back and forth to the hospital, the amount that we were going. So my husband started working weekends just to try and bring in some extra money, and he did that. But he was working 7 days a week, and Ian, my husband, has fibromyalgia, which is like ME or chronic fatigue. It's under different brackets. He was exhausted, he was stressed. we were not getting the best of Ian. His work was getting the best of Ian. We were getting the leftovers of Ian. So he was snappy. He wasn't enjoying life. He wasn't enjoying his children. Our marriage was starting to have a lot of tension in it. And we still were not paying all of the bills that we needed to pay. So we got into debt. We got into thousands of pounds of debt because of all these bills going out and just trying to survive. And it was horrible. Not only were we in a financial mess, I was stressed. Our marriage was tense. I started suffering with anxiety and depression. I was just miserable. I'd go to my friend's house, literally lock myself in her kitchen away from the kids while the kids played, and just cry and cry because I just had hit rock bottom and I could not see a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, there was nothing that was going to make our lives any different. Ian could not work anymore. He was already working 7 days a week as much as he could. I couldn't go and get a job because I needed to be with my children. I needed to be there to do all the hospital appointments. And it was literally like being on a hamster wheel. And all I kept thinking about was, this was not the life I envisioned for my children. When I was growing up, I wanted to give my children that I was going to have a better life, like more time to see their mum, to see their dad happy. All they could see was stress and tears, and just, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. So this went on for a couple of years. My daughters are now 4 and 6, but when they were 2 years ago, so when they were 2 and 4, this was when I hit the absolute rock bottom. And I was speaking to a friend one day who I knew from playgroup, not really well, but she said that she'd started this new business. And did I want to know about it? I was like, yeah, I do. Yes, tell me. And so I went for a coffee, and she basically said, have you ever heard of Arbonne? And I said no, which I hadn't. She said, have you ever heard of network marketing? I said no, which I hadn't. And she said, well, in a nutshell, Danny, you buy your own shop. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I know that franchises cost like £200,000. I was like, Emma, I can't afford a franchise. I can't afford a shop. She was like, no. She was just an online shop. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's slightly better. I was like, but even online shops cost thousands and thousands of pounds. Like, we all know how much a website costs to build and have up and running. She was like, Danny, chill out. She was like, £50. I was like, what, monthly? She was like, no, one off. So I was like, oh my God. So my ears were open. I was like, wow, okay. Trying to think, well, what? This sounds way too good to be true. And I hadn't even heard the whole story yet. I had heard about how much the website was. And she said, basically, buy a shop. It's like an online franchise. You get your website, and she basically said your shelves are filled on your shop. Like, the company deal with all of the courier delivery, all of the dispatch, the payments, the marketing. Like, they just deal with all of that. I was like, right, okay. So what do I do? She said, all you do is swap what you're currently using. So get rid of your shampoo, your shower gel, your products on your dressing table, the products in your kitchen, like all of these types of health and wellness products that we all use every day. Get rid of them and start using them from your own shop, from your Arbonne shop. And what you're going to do is you're going to use the products and you're going to try them before people buy them and tell them what you think. I was like, this is genius. Like, absolutely genius. And I was like, really? Because it sounded way too good to be true. And she was like, really? She goes, obviously it's hard work, of course. You know, you're not going to buy your website, you're going to be in thousands of pounds within the next month. You know, you're going to have to build up your credibility, you're going to have to build up your customer base, your client base, you're going to have to meet people, you're going to have referrals. I was like, that is fine. Like, I'm willing to do what it takes. And the fact that I'd had this door open to me, that although £50 was a lot of money for me at the time, it was doable. Like, I put it on my credit card actually, and then was able to pay, and I bought some products as well, and I was able to pay it off with my paycheck from Arbonne. And so the fact that it was something, someone was giving me a gift and saying, you don't have to take it, but this might be your solution. And that was absolutely how I saw it. And I joined. I was like, I'm all in, because no one else had come to me in those 2 years and said, Danny, here is a possible solution. Take a look. And she did. And I'm forever grateful for that, because it meant that I could open a business which I wouldn't have been able to afford otherwise. It meant that I could learn something from scratch, because the great thing about this business is, as long as you know how to take a shower and brush your teeth, you can start using products. It's not a problem. You don't have to use makeup. Lots of men do this. You don't have to be into nutrition. There are lots of people that just recommend the hand wash, the shampoo, and the toothpaste, and the deodorant. It's a learnable skill. Anybody can learn this from absolute scratch, which for me was a big thing, because I didn't have any skills to be a successful health and wellness advisor or successful health and wellness consultant. But you can learn it all from scratch. There's a free online university. There's free training, and it was something I could do around my children. You know, I already showered, I already put makeup on, I already ate and drank. I didn't take any extra time away from my children. What took extra time was learning more about the products, which was fine. I could still be with my children and be on the website learning about the products. That was not a problem. But you know what it was for me more than anything else? It was a solution. That's what it was for me. And I hear people say to me, Danni, how did you do this when you had no money, you had no network of friends that were interested in what you had to offer, and you had no time, you were in and out of hospital? And you know what? I didn't focus on those things. All I could focus on was the fact that this is a solution. I didn't even focus on all of the other stuff that could prevent me from building this business, because the alternative of not making this business work for me, the alternative was seeing my husband run himself into an early grave. He would have had a heart attack or had some sort of severe breakdown because physically he was running himself into the ground. So the alternative was just not worth making I can't think what the word is, objections about. You know, I could have sat there and said, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have this, but I didn't reel off all of those worries, because ultimately I either made this work with what I could, or I didn't, and I watched my husband get ill and ill and ill. Those were my two options. There was no other option. So I made it work. And what I did was, instead of focusing on all the things that I couldn't do to make this business a success, like I couldn't do parties, I couldn't do workshops, I didn't know none of my friends wanted my products. I didn't have many friends. So there was lots of reasons why I could not make this work. But what I did was think, instead of making a list of 100 reasons why this is going to be hard, let's make a list of 3 reasons that I can do this business. So what I could do was learn about the products, share the information about the products with people that were really interested to know more about cruelty-free products, botanical-based products, products that work, products that help, products that make a difference, products that create an extra income. Focus on learning about that and speaking to people that want to hear about that. Now, I didn't know anybody that wanted to hear about that, so I had to make new friends. So I made new friends on social media, and it's so easy to make friends these days. All you need to do is go onto your social media app that you use and make some new friends. People are looking to make friends on social media. So, girls, go and get your shoes on. So that was basically what I did. I shared the business with people, I shared the products, and I just got to work. And within a couple of months, I was earning £500 a month, which went to 1,000, which went to 2,000, which went to 7,000. Not that happens overnight. I was building my customer base, building my team, building my knowledge. I'm 2.5 years in now, and the highlight for me was being able to say to my husband, our Arbonne income financially covers us. You go and tell your boss that you're leaving. Like, can you imagine being able to say that to your husband? Even if your husband in the beginning thinks you're absolutely bonkers, to be able to say to your husband, go and tell your boss that you're leaving, you're not coming back. Like, that was amazing. Absolutely the best feeling ever. I've been able to take our family away on trips. We've been Bahamas, we've been to Disney World, we've been on a Caribbean cruise, Las Vegas, Arizona. We've been on trips that before just wouldn't have even been a possibility. So I'm going to wrap up because I've got to get my girls to school. I don't want to be late. Girls, go and get your shoes on. So yeah, that's it from me. And yeah, I love being at home with my kids. So yeah, thank you so much. Any other questions, just let me know because I've got to hurry up.